This could be a day where nothing goes right. Bonjour and welcome to the 40th episode of the Blind Pinterest Challenge, the series where I recreate crafts and DIY projects from Pinterest without any instructions because I'm French. I'm not actually French. I would really like to be French. French people are just so sexy, aren't they? Bonjour. I don't think people find British people very sexy. Unless they're talking about like the very quintessential southern posh British kind of people. Like the stereotypical kind of handsome Brit. But they're very rare, they don't really exist. I'm sorry to burst everyone's bubble. But let's find some sexy crafts. Okay, so the first craft I want to try is this ceramic incense holder in obviously the shape of lips, which I think is really cool. There's obviously a couple of pictures here. I'm assuming theirs will obviously be made using the proper like fire and pottery technique, but I don't have access to a kiln.
Well, that's not good enough, Mr. Blake.
I feel like I'm gonna have to come up with a different way to do it, but I definitely think I can kind of make it. I can make it look similar, I think. I'm either going to struggle with this one or it's actually going to work. I'm leaning more so on the struggle now. I feel like I've talked myself out of it. Another one I want to try, just because I think it's so stupid and so silly, are these little upcycled jazzy ducks with pom-poms as hats / hair, and I think they look super fun, super stupid, and I kind of love it. And I think something like this, you're free to do whatever you want with it. So I want to make my own custom little duck, and I want mine to be super cute. I want mine to be the coolest duck around. I also feel like I haven't done any resin crafts for a while. I've got a little bit of a resin itch.
Ew.
So I want to try these resin keychain letters, and they look kind of fancy. They're like blue, white, a little bit of gold. They don't look kind of tacky and ugly. They look kind of sophisticated and nice. So hopefully my version will look just as sophisticated and classy as theirs does. It never does, but this time might be the rare opportunity where it does. And then finally, since I'm kind of obsessed with sewing at the moment, proper love sewing,
The end of days is here.
I want to try this witch's hat, and I know it's not Halloween yet, but this one's like a floral witch's hat, so I feel like it's kind of an everyday hat, and I really suit a witch's hat. We know this from past experiences. I really suit a witch's hat, and I think it's quite fun to make one in like a floral summery fabric and just have that contrast to it. I've never seen something like that, and yeah, I think it'll be fun. I do think I might struggle with it a little bit. I still don't feel 100% confident in my sewing ability. I am getting better, but I'm not great. But surely it's only like, what, 2 bits of fabric or something, or like 3 or 4, and then just sew it together in a hat shape. I'm sure it'll be fine. So I think that's all the crafts I want to try in today's episode. I'll need a few weeks to get all my stuff together and get cracking and figure out what I'm actually supposed to be doing with any of these. So I'll see you in literally like 1 second, and it'll be in reality like about 8 weeks from now, I think. I'm recording that second part. I don't know. I don't even know what day it is today. I'm having one of them moments.
I'm confused.
Okay, I'm finally back, and I think we'll start off with a little bit of resin. I just bought this very chunky silicone letter mold, which I think will be perfect for key rings, and it was actually sold to us as like a keyring set. I then poured some green and white epoxy resin into these molds and tried to use like a lollipop stick to separate each of the colours so that they didn't mix too much. I don't know whether it worked particularly well, but I tried my best. And I know in the original pin they used gold accessories and gold leaf, but with my little kit it came with silver accessories like the metal chains and stuff, and I didn't think it would make sense to use gold leaf. So instead I already had some silver leaf, and I just tried to like tear that apart and put it into the resin the best I could. And then I just used the same technique to make a bunch of these different letters, making an absolute mess in the process. I absolutely hate silver leaf, gold leaf, any kind of leaf stuff because it gets everywhere. It sticks to your fingers. It is the hardest material to use, but I think I kind of got away with it. I hope I did anyway. And once I was happy, I just put them to one side to let them set. Right, so this is what we have now. Let's get these out the molds. I have a feeling mine are going to look very different to theirs. Mine are also going to need a lot of tidying up. I just made a right mess of this resin. This is the thing, that silver leaf stuff, it just got everywhere. It was really hard to control. Oh, that one's terrible. That one's really bad. Right, so I've got these out. I'm not over the moon with them. I'm not going to lie. So now I just need to add some of these little keychain bits. You don't even want to go through the holes. Oh my god, I can't even get that one through. Try a different letter. This isn't going well. Why do these loops not want to go through the actual keychain for? Like the actual letter. I can't get them through. Give us a second, I think I need some pliers. Oh, I'm not gonna lie, I'm making a right ass of this. I don't know what's wrong with this.
Everything.
I feel like they've sold us the wrong thing. It doesn't fit through properly. It feels like these are too short. I feel like I've been lied to. Like when you unhook it, it doesn't actually go all the way through the thing. It's impossible actually. I know it's not me. Unless I literally unwind everything, but then I can't get it back to normal. I'm just gonna try and like get one on a keychain. It's gonna look really shit, but at least I'll have something to show you. Okay, so we have expectation and reality, and surprisingly I don't think it looks too bad. It's definitely not perfect, and it's definitely a little on the rough side, and like if you turn it round, it's just like a solid green keyring. I don't know, and it's very textured, and I feel like I've really struggled, and I don't understand what happened with the little loop bit on there. It's almost like they provided us with too short of a ring to actually go through and like hook it through and for it to be a circle. This isn't me being like sleepy. I feel like products are purposefully trying to trip us up. I am having one of them days today, but still, I don't feel like this is my fault. I'm blaming someone else.
That's what Jesus would do.
And surprisingly with this craft project, all I had to buy was this mold. I had everything else. I had the silver leaf, I had the resin, I had the inks to dye the resin. And the mold came with these keychain bits that obviously weren't the right size.
Can you just let it go?
So in total these cost me $8.99, and I made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I made 7, and this is the best one, and then progressively they all start to get a little bit worse. So I'm not going to show you the others. Let's move on to another one. I wouldn't care. I know I've made an ass up of another one as well that we've done today. So this could be a day where nothing goes right, or just everything's just a little bit shitty. But it's fine. It's fine. We'll still have physical crafts. It's not like I'm not going to be able to show you anything. But just strap in because it's going to be one of them days. Okay, so hopefully I'll have a little bit more luck with this next project, and I'm gonna try the little rubber duck kind of cool quirky thing. And honestly, I don't think you can like mess this up. I hope you can't mess this up. I'm not gonna challenge myself to do that though. I don't think I need to. Right, so I've got myself a cute little rubber duck. Oh, how gorgeous. I love rubber ducks. I think I've got another one on here. Where is it? I know I've got a rubber duck somewhere, like a big one. I know I've got them little ones there. Where's the big rubber duck at? I don't know where I've put it. It's definitely in here somewhere. How bad is this that I can't find it? Where did it go? Where did it disappear to? I could have sworn it was on one of these shelves. Oh, here it is. I found it. I've got my little art duck. I can make the art duck a little friend. How fun. So I think we'll start by making a pom-pom. And I haven't made a pom-pom in a very long time. I feel like I know how to do it still. So I want to cut a bit of this off, and then I'll put that to one side for now. And then I'm going to take all 4 of these colours. So I've got a purple, a red, a yellow, and like a beige. Grab each length, and then we're just going to wrap all 4 at the same time around my 4 fingers. Right, I think I'm happy with that. Cut it off. And then what you want to do is get your little bit of yarn that you cut off before. Slip this yarn off your hand. Oh, it's all coming back to us now. Then you want to balance it in the middle of here. Grab the ends of your yarn and kind of tie it into a very, very tight knot, just in the middle. You want it as tight as you can get it. Obviously, if you struggle with this, you can easily get like a little pom-pom maker or something, like dead cheap online, because it can be a bit fiddly. Sometimes it feels like you need a few like hands and fingers. Okay, perfect. Right, I'll keep them long bits like that for now, and then I just want to take my scissors and cut through these bits. Obviously just be careful you don't cut through the bit that's holding everything together, otherwise it'll all fall apart. And then you just kind of trim it down into the size you want it. And you can obviously make it like big and fluffy if you want, or you can make it kind of small and more dense. I can actually cut that now because I'm not going to need it to tie onto anything. And there you have it, a perfect little pom-pom. Easy peasy. One of the easiest things you can ever make, a little pom-pom. And I'm thinking I'm just going to hot glue it on. I was wondering like how to attach it to the actual duck, and I think glue will be fine. Oh my god, this pom-pom's going to be ridiculous. It's going to be massive. Look how big it is compared to the duck. Oh, how cute. Oh, he's looking so cool. Right, let's add a very, very generous amount of hot glue onto here, and then just stick our little pom-pom on. The thing is, I'm going to be adding more stuff to this, but weirdly, I think just a little duck with a pom-pom hat or a pom-pom hair, I think it's good enough. I don't think you need anything else. Like, look at that. Don't we think that's perfect how it is? Look how cool he is. I am going to add some more things though. So I'm thinking I might go for googly eyes. I don't know whether I'll regret it, but we'll soon see. At least I'm going to make something good in today's episode. episode. Oh, that was literally the perfect thing I could have done. It's brought it all together, it really has. I kinda don't want to add anything else. I feel like I have to, because in the original pin, they added loads of stuff to theirs, but I'm kind of happy with mine as it is. So I've got a little pack of like these little flower things. I kept these from when I did, you know, when I had like my little mini midlife crisis when I made flower rings and stuff. I kept them from that. So I thought my little dude would like some cute little flowers on it. Oh, do we think a bow in the hair? I think a bow in the hair works. It's just enough. It's not too much. It's perfect. See, I was trying to keep it simple, and then as soon as I start adding stuff, I'm like, oh, okay. This is getting better. I want to add more things now. This is the problem. Look what I found. Perfect. You can have a little necklace too. That's why I love having a studio full of stuff, because I forget I've got things, and then when I rummage through boxes, I'm like, oh my god, yes. I was just looking there. I have some weird little plant things. I think there's some sort of ingredient, and I don't actually know what it is. I have a feeling they'll have a scent, but I'm not sure what it'll smell like, and it's also in a bag. So I don't really want to open it, just in case it's past its best, because it'll have been in there for years. I was going to organise my studio the other day, because it really needs organising, because there's just stuff everywhere, but I couldn't be arsed. Genuinely couldn't be arsed. Because it wouldn't even be a day thing. As soon as I start organising this studio, I know I'd like decorated it and everything, but I haven't fully organised it, and there's just stuff all over the place. If I fully organised it, I would be on not even like a day or two. I think it would take me weeks to sort out. Okay, I think I'm pretty happy with that. So we have expectation and reality. How cute is mine? Mine is so fancy and so fun. Look at all the accessories and all the decorations. You're so sassy. Look at you and your little necklace. How cute. One thing I'm surprised, in the original pin, no one decided to glue googly eyes to it. I think that's an obvious decision, but super cute. I think my artist duck is going to be well impressed with their new friend. Just see how much I spent on this. I don't think it cost us a lot. In fact, I think, what did I buy? I think I just needed to buy the duck. How much did I spend on the duck? So this craft project cost me £2.99, and I think that's an absolute bargain. I'd have happily spent double that on this. We don't need to worry now. I'm getting my mojo back. So moving on to one that I tried to kind of chicken out a little bit on, because I didn't think I was going to be able to make it, or I didn't think I was going to be able to make it as well as what they had. And I'll just show you what I've done. So it's obviously going to be the lip incense holder, and because I don't have access to a proper kiln, and I would have absolutely no idea how to use a kiln, I decided to try and make mine and mould mine from air drying clay, and just kind of try and craft this lovely dish shape, and eventually move on to trying to sculpt some very gorgeous lips that were supposed to 100% look like actual lips, and just try and make it look exactly like theirs, even knowing I knew I was just fighting an uphill battle at this point. Once I got to a point where, I'm not going to say I was happy with it, but I'll say when I got to a point where I was kind of done with it, I just jabbed in incense into the lips, just so I would know that it would actually hold the incense once it had fully set the clay, and just let that do its thing. Once it was fully set and dry, which took ages by the way, it took a good few days, it was looking a little bit like this, and that's absolutely fine. Hopefully I can rescue it with my paint job.
Kiss me.
And I just painted it with an acrylic paint and tried to match the theme that they had used in the original pin. And finally, once the paint had dried, I decided to go over the entire thing with a nice thick layer of glossy varnish. So we have expectation and reality. And mine is given like the ugly sister. Like, this is what mine is. Mine's the ugly sister of the original, but it's lovely and hard, it's well made, it just doesn't look very nice. I feel like I tried to do it, but I don't know, my sculpting ability wasn't fantastic. But let's see if this performs with some incense. I haven't used incense in years, by the way. I used to actually date someone who was really into incense, and you would go into like his room and stuff, and it would absolutely stink of like, but I don't even know how you would describe incense, because like I've got a pack here, and they're all these like different scents and stuff, but I feel like incense sticks, they all smell the same. It doesn't matter what it is, it just smells like incense. I like people who are into incense. I feel like they're very interesting people. I don't know why. Right, stick that in there. The hole was deeper than this, and now it's closed up for some reason. I think the varnish has got in it. It kind of works. Alright. And then just light it up. That smells nice. I like that. The weird thing is as well, in the original pin, their incense was pointing straight up. I feel like it needs to go on an angle, because otherwise the ash is going to fall in on itself. All incense holders I've seen, the incense is always on an angle. That's why I've purposefully done it this way. This isn't accidental. Ah, that's nice, that. It's strong. It reminds us of my ex and all the things we used to get up to in his room with all the incense going. But I won't get into that. Okay, so I spent £7.98, I think. But I've still got loads of it left. I barely even used any of it. So I reckon this little incense holder cost me about like £1, maybe £2 to make. Proper cheap. I think it's quite a fun little idea, actually. I think you could make loads of different kind of varieties. Obviously, just try and make it a little bit better than mine. Mine looks like a child's made it. As much as I like incense, when it's right in front of my face, it starts to give us a headache. I felt like a proper old person saying that. Oh, put the incense out, it's hurting my head. I'm so uncool. I want to be cool, and I'm just not a cool person. How would you even put incense out? I think I'm gonna have to just dip it in some water right now. Okay, so it's finally time to try and make this witch's hat, which I haven't even touched yet. And I don't know how I'm gonna make it. I really don't. But I bought this fabric, this floral fabric, and it's a kind of, what's the word called? What you use, upholstery. It's an upholstery fabric that I've bought. So I'm thinking that'll be good for this hat.
It won't.
This is going to be a challenge, by the way, and this might not go particularly well because I'm still obviously new to sewing. And I'm still just, I'm a little bit rough. I did make, obviously, this absolutely gorgeous bag, and I hand sewed that with, obviously, my sewing machine, but I did an amazing job. So, I'm hoping I can make a hat. Oh, this fabric's nice. Oh, like a witch's hat and that. Ooh, a t-shirt and that. Oh, I want to get to the point where I can sew t-shirts, because, like, I would have so many nice t-shirts. I would never need to buy a t-shirt again, or just make my own. Right, I'm thinking, so I have actually cut this, which you might be like, what the hell is that? This is actually the rim for the hat. It's going to be anyway, and I'm wondering whether to do the top bit first or do this bit first. I feel like if I do this bit first, it's going to be harder to get it through the sewing machine. I feel like this needs to be last. Or does it matter? Because I think I'm going to do them in 2 different parts anyway. Am I doing them in 2 different parts?
What's happening?
Maybe I should do this first, and then it makes me understand how the pointy bit works. I'm thinking I'm going to want to wrap kind of 2 of these, 1 to go on that side, 1 to go on the other side, and then cover that, and that makes sense with that. And then I just need to figure out how to make like a triangle pointy thing. And I would also like to remind everyone again, and I feel like I have to every time, I'm doing this all without instructions. I don't know what I'm doing. I just try my best. That's all I can do. I can just try my best. Don't shout at us. It doesn't matter at the minute, like if it's rough or anything, because I need to measure out the circle and stuff, so don't get too stressed with us yet. Alright, I'm just going to take some chalk and I want to draw around this shape, and then on the inside as well. Okay, and then we'll cut that out where the blue bit is. Oh, I think this is going to look fun. It's going to look so fun. The good thing about a pattern like this as well is I feel like you can hide mistakes because it's patterned and it's busy and stuff. Right, and I need to cut it out exactly the same on this one. Okay, so I've got this bit done, and you know what? I'm feeling kind of confident now. I feel like, I don't know, it's starting to make sense in my head. I don't know about the pointy bit yet, but this bit, I feel like is kind of, I don't know, it's coming together in my mind. Now I'm just trying to decide whether I should sew this together. By the way, I am going to be putting the piece of cardboard inside when I sew it, because my idea is that obviously you need the ridge to be kind of stiff, and I was thinking I could use like wire or like boning, but that just, it's too complicated for us. And then I was thinking, oh, I might just get away with not having anything inside. But if you look, that's so floppy, and a witch's hat, it needs that kind of stiff peak, doesn't it? So I'm thinking, sew this together with the cardboard inside, and then figure out the top part. Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, that was a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. Sewing a circle shape, I feel like it's impossible. But from far away, this looks lovely. I'm not gonna, just do not look close at this. And now I need to figure out how to add a point to it, and I don't know how to do that. I don't know whether it's like 1 bit of fabric or not. I'm gonna try and measure something out and see if I can figure this out, and then sew it to this, and hopefully we'll have a witch's hat. There are no instructions in this. This is just me just praying that I somehow make a hat. Okay, so I have never been with that bit of sewing. I feel like I've really started to enjoy sewing. I've hated doing this. It's been really, really hard. And it looks shit. It looks so bad. But we have expectation. In reality,
What the fuck is that?
like you could tell I was getting there, I was getting close. I feel like I need a pattern.
You think?
But it's the shape of a hat. It's the shape of a witch's hat. It just doesn't look good at all. Attaching this dangly bit to this circle bit was almost impossible. I've proper had to like ram it through the machine and it's shredded and it just looks awful. And also I feel like I need something to lift that up because it's just all floppy. I hate it. But I'm gonna try it on since I've spent so long trying to make this. Oh yeah, it doesn't even fit my head. It literally, I carved that bit of wood and it perfectly fit my head. This doesn't even... Like, what is that? It doesn't fit my head at all. It's literally floating on the top of my hair. Livid. I'm proper livid. This was way harder than I thought it was going to be. But how much did that absolute monstrosity cost us to make? I've wasted so much fabric as well because I just kept making mistakes. So I think I spent about 15 quid on fabric, but I've only used about like a £5 of it or something. So like I'm just annoyed. Like you could see where I was going with this. The circle bit was really hard to do. It's not pristine. This bit was really hard to do. I feel like if I made this again a second time round, I would know what to do and what not to do. I wouldn't use cardboard. Cardboard was a shit idea. Really awful idea. Do not put cardboard in. Bad idea. I would also use a like thicker, harder material. They said to me this is upholstery material. I don't think it is. It's too stretchy. This would make a really good t-shirt material. This would be perfect for t-shirt, but not for witch's hat. I'm furious because I thought I could do that one and I just... Well, it was just a reality check for us, wasn't it? Anyway, that just about does it for today's episode of the Brian Pinterest Challenge. Hopefully you have enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. I was enjoying it up until the witch's hat. The witch's hat ruined it for us. I think the only good thing that's come out of this episode is I've got a cute duck. Everything else I've made, I've like not really enjoyed at all. But oddly enough and weirdly enough, I think if I made all of those crafts for a second time round, I would get way better results. Just the first time round, really hard. I could have lied to everyone and like done loads of attempts and just showing you the like perfect one, but I'm not that kind of person. Because other people will then try and make a witch's hat, not knowing how to make a witch's hat, and think, oh, Ant's made it look like a piece of piss, I can do it, and they'll get really upset with themselves. And now hopefully you've watched this video and you'll be like, you know what, witch's hats, they look really hard to make. I'm glad Ant has made me realise that I want to pull my hair out over making a witch's hat. Alright, anyway, I'm gonna go away before like I just start screaming into my new pillow on my seat, so... See you later. See you next week for a brand new video. Can't wait. Excited. Hope it's better than this one. Ooh, I haven't made a video in a while that's proper like riled us up. It's riled us up big time. I don't know whether it's coming across. Probably is. I'm now determined in the future to make a witch's hat from scratch and it will look like a witch's hat. I won't let it beat us. I won't. I might be defeated today. The witches and the textile hat making, they've defeated us today, but it won't be forever. I'll get my vengeance. I will get my revenge on ya.